Jackie, for more on this border crisis, let's bring in former Border Patrol Chief and Texas Policy Foundation Senior Distinguished Fellow for Border Policy, Rodney Scott. Chief Scott, I just want to start right where Nate Foy left off. You've got a 13-year-old raped in New York, a 12-year-old strangled in Houston, a mother of 5 raped and killed in Maryland, migrants from Venezuela, Ecuador, and El Salvador. How many times does this have to happen before people demand action?
That's a great question, Griff, and I hope no more. I mean, every one of these is preventable because these people should not be in the country in the first place. As we've talked about before, we had the most secure border this country has ever seen at the end of the Trump administration because for 27 years, we focused on improving our ability to detect people entering the United States and to prevent them from getting in without us knowing about it, to make sure there weren't gotaways. But that actually also included ending catch and release so that we didn't just release people into the United States after we encountered them. We actually deported them and we detained them until they had adjudicated, their entire case was adjudicated. This administration walked away from all of that. Get rid of sanctuary cities and actually hold people until we can actually determine who they are and what intent they have, and if they even have a legal right to be here. And this problem gets diminished significantly overnight. And then all those agents out there want to focus on finding the criminals and kicking the criminals out. But right now, the Biden administration has them processing fraudulent asylum claims.
Well, and Chief, it seems there's a lesson here because as Nate Foy mentioned just a few days ago, CBP releasing the official May numbers, overall 170,000 plus total encounters, but it was just shy of 118,000 that were between the ports of entry. And the May numbers, this is the lowest month of the fiscal year. It's the lowest May of Biden's administration over 3.5 years. But yet we know one of those Venezuelans that raped 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungare came at the end of May. So even with lower numbers, you're still having this threat. How do you immediately address that?
So you immediately address it by implementing some of the policies we had before. But I want to touch on the numbers, Griff, because they can be very misleading. First and foremost, anything over 1,000 illegal entries a month gives the cartels the upper hand so they can guarantee gotaways. They can guarantee to some of their customers that they'll get passed because they use the people willing to use the fraudulent asylum loophole to overwhelm law enforcement. But there were really over 240,000 encounters. People need to look at the national numbers, not just the southwest border, and look at how many illegal aliens that the Biden administration is pushing through the ports of entry. That is overwhelming the CBP officers as well. Don't look at just the southwest border or just Border Patrol. The numbers are a little bit down, but they always trend down a little bit in July because of the heat and a little bit of the rhetoric behind the asylum, the change in the asylum process. But this isn't sustainable because nothing has really changed. Until the Biden administration ends catch and release, we're going to continue to see this tsunami. And unfortunately, we're going to continue to see Americans suffer at the hands of illegal immigrants because the Biden administration has chosen to have a reactive strategy instead of a proactive strategy.
Chief, the tone of the administration in the cases of these horrific recent migrant crime incidences, it struck me a little bit. On another channel, DHS Secretary Mayorkas was being interviewed. Here is his answer to one of the questions. I want you to listen to it and tell me what you think.
First and foremost, of course, our hearts break for the children, the family, the loved ones, the friends of the individual who was murdered, the woman, the mother.
Should he know her name, Rachel Morin?
He should know her name, but and I hate to chuckle on such a serious issue, but find any time that man has ever shown compassion for an American. He continually talks about the illegal aliens and the plight of the migrant, but he can't even say the name of a U.S. citizen that suffered at the hands of his policies. I hope America is really paying attention to what this administration focuses on and who they really care about, because it's not America.
Well, and just in the last 15 seconds or so, is there anything you want to get out there about the vetting process specifically? Because it's clear, and the DHS IG report pointed out, it's not working.
In the short amount of time we have, True vetting includes a face-to-face interview with trained agents that can actually detect deception and then actually research the individual story. That is not happening today, and as long as there's over 1,000 illegal entries a day, that will not happen because Border Patrol just simply doesn't have the bandwidth to be able to do it, and neither does FBI or ICE.
Former Chief Rodney Scott, great insight as always. Thanks for taking time.